All right, well, with us is Keith Norton, who is the host of the New England Beer Collectible Show right here, and Dave Lang, who I guess you could say in many ways is one of the founding fathers of the hobby. Dave's been at this for how long now?
I started in 1962.
1962. What? Maybe you could just tell us a little bit how you got into the hobby before there really was a hobby.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so sure how anybody gets into a hobby before there's a hobby, but I just was fascinated by all the different brands of beer. You got to remember, back in 1962, there were a load of regional brands, and I did a fair amount of traveling in accordance with my work. And everywhere I went, I picked up the local brand. And gradually, I had an accumulation of about 69 cans from around the country. I moved from New Jersey to Massachusetts, and at that point in time, I was going to get rid of those cans. I didn't want to bother to move them. My wife said, well, why don't you take them along with you? So I put them in a pillowcase, and brought them to Massachusetts. Then I started collecting all the regional cans from this area, and it just grew from there. And then I got interested in older cans, and that's a whole different story at that point in time.
When did you discover? I'm doing the interview here. Sorry, but
that's okay. You got the better questions.
When did you discover there were other people kind of in the hobby? How did that come about?
Well, I subscribed to a Brewer's Digest magazine, and there was an ad in there for a book on Breweriana, it was called at that time, by a fellow by the name of Will Anderson. And so I sent for that book, and along with it, he sent me an invitation to a grouping of collectors at his home in Connecticut. And that's the first time I knew that anybody collected beer cans except myself. So I went to that show, and I think there were about 19 or 20 people there. And that was the first group of collectors that I'd ever gotten to know. I think I was one of 2 or 3 from New England that were at the show. That led to the founding of the Eastern Coast Breweriana Association, which was probably the earliest of the collecting groups. It was shortly thereafter Beer Can Collectors of America was founded, and that's now by far the biggest of the collecting groups.
Oh, so how large is your collection now, and what does it include?
Well, when I moved from New York to New Hampshire, I moved about 13,000 cans. The collection is probably about 11,000. The rest of them are traders and that sort of thing. Since that time, I really don't consider the new aluminum cans as part of the collection, I guess. So if you want to get down to the hardcore piece of the collection, which are the older steel flat tops, tab tops, and cone tops, it's probably around 6,000 to 7,000.
Do you exclusively collect cans, or do you do the trays
or
anything like that?
Like everybody.
Yeah.
We're all junkies. Things, yeah. I have a lot of trays. Recently, thanks to what I've seen in some other collectors' houses, I started collecting older bottles also. And I have a fair number of labeled Steiny bottles particularly.
How about the bottle caps? How's their value in the collectability?
I don't know anything about bottle caps because I'm not into it, but they're a very popular collectible at this point.
I got a small collection of bottle caps, and I've collected for a few years the 6-packs. The cardboard, they're easy to store.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Is there any other people interested in that or anything, or are they collectible at all?
I suspect so, but I couldn't tell you who.
Yeah.
But we also have a situation, I mentioned that back in ़62 when I first started, there were a lot of regional beers around the countryside that I could collect. Well, we're kind of back in that same situation. We sort of have that same situation right now with the craft beers. Just about anywhere you go in the country, you can come up with a different type of beer. Granted, it's not generally going to be in cans, but it's in bottles, and there's a lot of collectibles involved with it. Coasters, crowns, what have you. And I think it's been very helpful in bringing about a resurgence of interest in the whole world of Breweriana collectors.
She called me late last night, say she loved me so. Didn't matter anymore. I say she never cared and that she never will. Do it all again, I guess I'll have to wait until then. myself a beer.
As the beer guy always say, if you're drinking, don't drive.
Okay, hey Dave, what have we got here? What's going on?
We like a good draft beer. Oh yeah. We have Paper City is one of the sponsors of this show.
If you don't mind. Have you taken a tour before the Paper City Brewery?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have one of our shows, an April show, which is at the brewery.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they've got they're on the upper level of the old mill.
Did they let you ride around on the Indian motorcycles?
No, we've seen them, but we
Yeah. It's quite a place.
yeah, they're very hospitable in doing that. They've done it now for probably 4, 5, 6 consecutive years in the month of April.
Oh, that's a great
We
smelling
also,
beer.
have
Chris, why don't you?
Yeah, what do we have on the other
This
tab?
other one is Harvard Lager, which is brewed in Lowell.
Oh, really? Local?
It's the old Harvard brand, which was brewed in Lowell
President
back in
Bush, huh?
brewed back in, I think it went out of business in about 1954, 55. The label was resurrected by the folks that own Lowell Brewing Company.
Okay.
And Lowell Brewing Company is now, I believe, actually Concord.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do the Concord products. I don't know what the corporate name is,
Yeah.
but I believe the Concord people actually run the brewery. So they've also contributed here.
Very nice.
We also have bottles here. Tap, of course, is a local Haverhill brew pub.
Oh, wow.
Which
And you can pick that up right there?
Oh, this is the Hefeweizen. Oh, that's nice
This
stuff.
happens to be the Hefeweizen. They have a variety of different brews, all of which, at least ones I've tasted, are very good.
That's great.
Also a variety of Paper City bottled products in here. One-eared monkey, for instance.
I've never tried that. That's
Something unusual.
Yeah, I mean, it might help our hearing too, you know?
I have to admit, I haven't tried that one
Or
myself.
impaired, I'm not sure which one, but oh, that's great. Peach flavored, huh? Take a look at that.
Most of their products are excellent.
We meant to take that for a sit down,
Yeah, right.
you know? Very nice.
Cheers.
Cheers to you too.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you.